Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordant. We are back for some more Pillars of Eternity with the Triple Crown difficulty settings. So we are currently in a very cool place. We are at the White Forge. In the previous episode we dealt with the fight that occurs here with the three spirits of the main dwarves of Darkens Battery, plus a bunch of their vessel guardians. I don't remember the name actually. Do I have them here? Battery guard, yeah, the Forge Guardians. They look very cool, by the way. This picture is awesome. But yeah, they are vessels, they have some endurance, they have fire breath. Yeah, retaliatory fire, guarding flames. Pretty cool fight overall. Aloth did amazing with his level 8 spell, the Wall of Many Colors, as did Durance with all his buffs, and everybody played a role. The Grieving Mother didn't do much, but I also realized why. Because I was trying to use my Envenomed Strike, but this actually does nothing against vessels, because I believe they are immune to whatever this does. Maybe I'm just wrong, but who knows? I think it's the poison. Oh well. But yeah, she didn't do much, she didn't get a lot of focus points. Thankfully, it was not that relevant.
Hi?
We also missed an item over here. Oh yes, we did.
Alright.
And now we get a chance to interact with this other pillar and, you know, have some dialogue, I guess. But we can also see the lava flowing, which is pretty cool.
Stop, Marauder! Our bodies are dust already. Must you profane holy ground with further violence?
Okay, so their spirits are still around, even though I defeated them in battle. Flames roar and whip from within the forge. As they rise, their glow washes the room in a gory crimson light.
Did the height of our walls offend you? Did we cross your borders? Sail you weak steel? Tell us, why did you invade our fortress?
Behind the anger and through the roaring flames, you hear the voice of a tired old man. I think there's a misunderstanding. This place is abandoned.
No, that cannot be. Abidon wouldn't allow it.
The flames flicker and shudder, and the stones beneath your feet grow suddenly cold.
Wake up, Exandru! This is why Abidan gave us the White Forge, that we might take up arms and deal with villains like this.
Heat surges once again from the forge, prickling your skin.
Such a magnificent device, and she can only see it as a tool for war. She shames our grandparents, who wandered this continent and...
Quiet, both of you! Can't you feel it? This chill. This silence.
The fires crackle and snap.
But you entered our keep and found it abandoned. Ruined. What happened to us?
His question drifts from the mouth of the White Forge, wreathing you like a cloud of smoke. I was hoping you could tell me, what do you remember? And this is actually true. I want to know what happened, because everywhere we go, we hear that the dwarves killed each other, like fighting among themselves. But there's a lot of, there's a lot of counts throughout the place that seems to be mentioning some sort of invasion. They were barring the doors, they were making up barricades, standing their ground, and something was coming. But we don't know what.
It was strange. They came so suddenly.
Okay, maybe we get to know here.
I'd never seen anything like them. Twice the size of any ogre, and positively fearless. They were...
Eyeless. Yet no matter how hard we fought, or how deep we hid, they kept coming for us.
What were they?
Some kind of magfolk, but bigger than any we knew of. We who survived never got close.
They were relentless. Unnaturally so.
And why did they attack you? Oh, not voiced. They didn't stop to explain themselves. Yet I wondered at what monstrous wilder might survive in a place like this.
We should have taken our steel and pushed east.
What's to say they didn't come from the east? from the lands Maroon so coveted.
It was a punishment for taking this gift of Abidan, the White Forge, and squandering it on our greed and vanity.
The other voices say nothing, but you feel their doubt and dissent in the stifling heat of the forge. Okay, go on.
We retreated until there was no place left to go. Until those of us who remained were here.
Here, with the salvation Abidan had left us.
What was this salvation?
The White Forge. With it, our smiths pulled the souls from our bodies and preserved them in the very stones of Durgan's Battery.
Okay.
It was agony. Feeling your soul ripped from your flesh. Feeling every part of you torn asunder. But it saved us.
Imprisoned us.
It was Abidan's grace. Now, we inhabit the monument our people built to the White Forge.
Okay, so their souls are bound to this place. What does this have to do with Abidan?
The White Forge belongs to Abidan, of course. It is here that he built his own body.
And whether he found this place or created it, it's a truly remarkable smithy.
We Pargrunen are wanderers by nature. But it was Abidan's call that led our forefathers here after generations spent along the Pearl Coast and Air Glonfath.
So the old stories say. Then again, I can't see any other reason our grandfathers would have stayed here when greener lands lay east.
And how does the White Forge work?
Its fires have been blessed by Abidan. They're fed by Eora's molten heartbeat and veined with Audra that runs to the center of the world.
So, just to kind of remind myself as well, I believe Eora is the name they gave to their world.
Which explains their conductive power. See, these Audra veins allowed us to siphon essence into steel as we shaped it.
And that essence, the extraordinary heat of the forge, and our smith's skill is what made Durgan Steel so remarkable.
I see. And now you're here in Darkens Battery.
Stuck here, you mean? With all the others who sought to escape the eyeless.
To observe the passage of centuries in peace and solitude, that would be perfection. Well, I mean, for some people it might. You're trapped here, never experiencing anything new. It sounds maddening.
Had we thought longer on the fate that awaited us, we might have chosen a quick death to this slow agony.
Blasphemy! There's no greater honor than remaining here, watching over the White Forge.
Okay, so there's two ways of thinking right here, which are very opposite to one another. This guy didn't say anything. Easily entertained, huh? Well, I suppose that's one way to look at it.
I only wish we could protect this humble monument better.
Or do something. Anything. We were once among the greatest smiths in the known world. Tell me, do Kith still speak of us?
Okay, so let's see. This one, what's the name? Maroon, she's kind of very unhappy about still being here, tied to this place. The chief curate Exandru is very happy to be here, protecting the White Forge, and Zoltan just wishes he could do something with this place, instead of just being a ghost tied to, you know, the area. Yes, and highly. You are still regarded as master smiths.
That is good to know. It's only a shame that this legacy is nothing but a memory.
The White Forge radiates gentle warmth.
Is this why you braved the restless souls of Durgan's Battery? To recover the process of Durgan Steel?
I mean, there's various reasons, right? I wanted to learn how Durgan Steel was made. This is true. This is also true. This is also true. This is also true. And this is also true, but I wouldn't say it. But I mean, let's go with I don't know, the one that's strongest, I guess. There's a village called Stalwart that's fallen on hard times. They asked me to find the White Forge, and if not for them, I would never have come here, so let's go with this. At this admission, you feel a softening in the essence of the Pargrunen. In one moment, each soul and fragment is distinct, and in the next, they form an indistinguishable host. You perceive them as a school of fish caught in a tide, a flurry of snowflakes on the wind, a pantry full of fragrant spices.
Then I hope you're satisfied with what you found here.
Orlan.
At least you get to leave this place.
But it was good to be remembered, however briefly.
As the souls of Darkens Battery speak to you, their collective essence takes shape, much like Meyrwald did. There are scores of them, all torn by conflicting purposes and trapped in the memory of their lost battle. You taste the bitterness of their uncertain existence and feel the persistent ache of centuries. It is a slow, agonizing fate, but you find it in your power to grant them another. So we get three choices here. We can release them from Durgan's Battery. You are free to roam again, return to the wheel and seek new lives. We can bind them to the cannons, defend Abaddon's Forge and the fortress you built around it. Or we can also bind them to the White Forge, tend to your legacy, remain here and lend your skills to others. And by what we just saw here, like everybody, saying their piece about this, you could find a reasoning for any of these choices. So naturally this would be for Maroon, this is probably for the Chief, and binding them is probably for Zoltan, because he wants to be useful. Now, since I'm making this playthrough, and I want to be as informative as possible, I'm going to tell you guys what these choices actually mean. So naturally, just going role-playing wise, I would consider this one probably to be the most benevolent, because you are freeing them, they are no longer bound to this place. But again, like I said, you can find a reasoning for any of them. You could give this guy the honor of serving Abaddon and, fulfilling his fate of defending this place. Or you can also tend to your legacy, remain here and lend your skills to others. This is also a worthy task, a worthy goal. But in the practical sense, what this does is, if you release them, these spirits, they can provide some help sometime in the future in something kind of unexpected. At least that was my my experience. If you bind them to the cannons, the bound spirits will increase the defense of the battery and also the fortress. I'm not actually sure what this does, to be completely honest. I don't think I've ever picked this option. And the final one, and probably the most important one, is binding them to the White Forge. So what this one does is it will increase the efficiency of this forge. So with the iron steel ingots, or the Durgan Steel ingots we've been acquiring throughout the White March, you can actually enchant your weapons and armor. But in order to do so, you need to spend a certain number of ingots. If you bind them, the number of ingots required for each enchantment goes down, I believe by 1. So in a practical sense, the most efficient choice would be this one. And again, I still consider it to be a worthy choice. I'm gonna go with the one that I myself find the most the better outcome. I just like freeing them and making them return to the wheel and seek new lives. They're freed from this place. I don't want them to stay here, stuck to this area. So, we are going to release them from Durgan's Battery. You're free to roam again, my friends. You perceive the tenuous connections between the souls and the battery. As you sever them, the souls cry out, some in relief and others in rage. Yeah. Pressure builds in the ether, which swarms with essence and energy. You cover your ears and grit your teeth against the devastating hum that builds in the core of your soul. Nice. Now, naturally, we also get some experience points, but since we are at max level, it doesn't make a difference. And let me see what we have here. This music sounds like The Witcher 3. The White Forge is now available for your use. It has the unique ability to refine Durgan iron ingots. That was what I was talking about. Multiple iron ingots are required to create a single refined ingot. After refinement, these ingots can be used at any time in enchanting recipes to augment weapons, shields, and armor with Durgan Steel. So let me see, what can we do here? Ah, right. Ah, yes, correct. So this is what I was talking about. The binding them to the forge, what it does is actually reduces the cost of refinement, not the actual enchantments. So slight misspoke slightly there, but that's what it does. Instead of costing 4 ingots, it only costs 3. This iron ingot has been refined by the fires of the White Forge. It can now be used to create the legendary Darkens Steel. So I don't think there's any reason not to refine them, so let's just craft a few of these. And now we can see, hopefully. Yeah, so now we get this other enchantment option here, the White Forge. And we can get the Durgan refined weapon. Oh my god, man, and it's no joke. Plus 15% attack speed, plus 0.3 to crit damage multiplier, and plus 20% of hits converted to crits. Woo, baby! And there's also something relevant to mention here. It does not occupy an enchantment slot. Man. And you can also reinforce your armor. 15% of incoming crits converted to hits, and minus 15% armor speed penalty. So I think this also makes you attack faster. Man, but you know, the problem as usual is you have limited resources. So you really have to think about what you want to do, which weapon you want to enchant, all those things. Especially because two-handed weapons will cost you 2 ingots. For Eder, for example, let me see here. It only costs 1, because it's you know, a one-handed weapon. Okay, well, in any case, I think it's fitting, as in any RPG, to give the most importance to my main character. So I am going to be going for the Borosane. I'm going to keep going with the Borosane. It's served me well thus far. I'm going to keep with it. And we are going to enchant it as a Durgan refined weapon for this very, very awesome buff. It is done. And now what I want to see is, I have this here, the Gauntlets of Swift Action. Oh, but yeah, I think I read about stacking. Yeah, and supposedly weapon buffs always stack with everything else. But let me just make double sure here. Yep, it's not suppressed. So I can shoot very, very quickly. Awesome. So nothing is suppressed without exception with this one. We have everything we want. Okay, very cool.
Hey.
With the rest of my Durgan Steel ingots, I will have to think about what I want to do. I could double up on my main character and also reduce the recovery speed of this piece of armor to 5%, which would also be cool. Or, you know, I can give it to someone else. Let me just see something here, sorry. Ah, yeah, so it also reduces the crits you take. Okay. I think it's mostly cool for the speed improvement. Well, in any case, my friends, I think this finishes up Durgan's Battery and the White Forge area. You can either go out this way and just go all the way back, or you can take the shortcut that we saw here before, which is jumping across to the other side of the tower. And I will do that, but I think I will also want to go back into Durgan's Battery and just check if something...
You stepped out of Durgan's Battery and into the new snow outside. Word had already spread of strange lights rising from the fortress, and energy crackling in the sky. The survivors of Stalwart flocked to Durgan's Battery, their steps hastened by the promise of peace and prosperity at last. They mended their walls, gathered their strength, and prepared their town for the new opportunities that were sure to come. And with the voices of Durgan's Battery silent at last, none heard the distant groan of something stirring among the peaks, as massive and relentless as an avalanche.
Oi. And with the voices of Durgan's Battery silent at last, none heard the distant groan of something stirring among the peaks as massive and... I don't understand if this is telling me that there is something coming or that there is not something coming. You have completed Pillars of Eternity, the White March Part 1. To begin the next chapter of the story, rest in any location outside of the White March. And we have a new quest, the Forgotten Army. So yeah, I think something is coming. And the look of this place also changed. Now we have some fire roaring over here. Like I was saying, I want to go this way to also check out the jump. But then I want to go back in to see if anything's changed. Maybe some of the villagers went inside. I don't know, something. So the crumbling edge of this long platform suggests that there was once stairs leading down from here, perhaps joining with the pathway some distance below. It seems a manageable jump from here, on this side, but you doubt you would be able to return the same way. Let's just hope that the grieving mother doesn't fall. So let's jump across. You leap, and for a dizzying moment the ground below flashes past, and then you are across the gap and upon the second tower. Okay, good, so it's fine. We can just come down, and we're gonna see if there's something different in Durgan's Battery now. And after that, I think I'm just gonna rest and begin the next chapter of the White March. I think I'm gonna leave Stronghold for last. Or at least, I don't know. I think there's a couple of items that I want to pick up from the White March Part 2. But then I'm not sure if I should do Stronghold before finishing Part 2 or... I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I don't think it's very important. I'm just thinking about the flow of the story. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be anybody in this area. We can just go out. Naturally, I'm gonna go back to Stalwart to talk to the mayor and all that stuff. See if they have any rewards or if they just wanna congratulate me. The usual thing. And I also want to check the quest, because we finished the quest. I like reading the end of the quest description. So let's see here. Okay, so the White March is finished. I released the souls of Durgan's Battery to return to the cycle of life and death. That's the only thing it says. And now we have the Forgotten Army. The White Fort has been restored thanks to your efforts in the White March. I should depart the White March and rest. In time, Stalwart should begin to mend. Okay. Oh, okay, this is a companion quest. Companion quest. Wait, I don't have a quest for the monk. Huh. Okay. So all tasks are done, all quests are done, all main quests are done for the White March. So yeah, let us go back to Stalwart, see what the people have to say. I still have my fishy buff for 5 more seconds. I want to purchase some more mead, because I think I drank all of mine. And mead is very good. Getting those 3 damage reduction points is quite nice. So let's take a look at Stalwart. My first stop is going to be the mayor's house. And then I'm just going to check out the inn, see if anybody has anything to say. And then we go. Now you owe me. So the mayor's house is this one. I would like a reward, but given that the quest is marked as completed, I don't expect one.
Been 200 years since folks set foot in Durgan's Battery. Now you've cracked the place wide open, and with quite the display.
Indeed.
Thanks to your help, we just might pull through. You've done a lot.
She shakes your hand. Oh! And here, I've been saving these. Some of the last gems we recovered before we had to close the mines. With any luck, we'll have them open again soon. She gives you a small pouch, gemstones twinkle inside. So, what happens now for Stalwart? Now it's up to us to use this opportunity to pull ourselves back together. She folds her arms. She frowns. I'm still not pleased about having Berengan's clan a stone's throw from our gates, but I'll have to hope that your deal with her holds. We'll just have to hope Taina pushes along a few more years. She once knew a lot about mining, but she's starting to go. Raningil taps her head. She lowers her voice. To be honest, I didn't think anyone could open the battery. It just gave folks something to hope for. But I'm starting to hope. The White Forge could turn things around for us if we're able to make use of it before some dear wooden noble stakes a claim out there. Well, I'm glad I could help. So are we, but I'm hoping you'll make use of the White Forge too, if you haven't already. She nods at you. After all, it doesn't get much better than Durgan Steel. If you can forge some into your existing gear, you'll have a powerful set of equipment in your hands.
What's on your mind?
Oh. Sure, let's examine Raningil's soul. Your awareness settles beneath Raningil's skin. You feel yourself looking through her eyes upon a time-faded memory. You're standing in the inn. The room is stifling, but it's the body heat of the many furious villagers, not the neglected fire pit that's drawn sweat from your pores. Your husband waits by the door, about as far as he can get from the assembly. He holds Uldric, whose cheeks are bright as he watches the adults bicker with wide, fearful eyes. Oh, I'm really looking at her soul, not one from a past life, okay? You'd never realized how badly your neighbors stank, but something rank and repulsive rises from them as they pack together in this room.
How much did the old snake pay you, Sina Hiod?
It's Grinda, the head fisherman, jabbing a furious finger toward the back of the room. Sina Hiod, your erstwhile mayor, squirms in a corner, pinned by accusing stares of the entire village. Oh, those eyes. They're cruel porcine eyes, and they're watching Sina Hiod with the dumb gluttony of hogs staring at fodder. The only sight that turns your stomach more is Sina Hiod himself, trying to wriggle himself free of his own lies.
Maestro Galvino and I came to an agreement. It was for the good of Stalwart. I thought...
You thought you'd let a killer walk among us?
Cries of fierce agreement rise from the others. What began as a collective grumbling is swelling and congealing like storm clouds. You look back at your husband. He's whispering to Ulrich, but when you catch his eye, he directs a silent supplication to you.
Let's go.
A wet smack draws your attention back to the other end of the room. Someone's thrown a potato, and Sini cringes and rubs his jaw. You want to shout at them all for this nonsense and waste, but you know this is about to get worse. Stalwart will have blood, and Galvino and his horror had the sense to flee already. You turn again, and your husband is beckoning you with swift, chopping motions, but what stops your breath is Uldric. His little eyes are fixed on the churning mob, and you knew ever since you started hearing about those hideous purges that he'd see something like this one day, but did it have to be so soon? It's what drove that devil woman to madness, and now his little eyes have gotten big, big enough to swallow the whole scene, and now he's seeing you as a part of it. They're talking about the Devil of Karok, by the way. You want to leave now, but if you do, this is what your boy will remember. Cowardice and madness. About people, about Stalwart, about you. The people around you jostle and bark in their rage. They're dangerous animals, but animals nonetheless. They just need to be led. So you push your way to the end of the room where Senior Hit trembles in a puddle of his own piss.
Enough.
Your voice boils up from your throat. The others fall silent, watching you. They listen, dumbly trusting as you turn Senior Hit's death sentence into an exile. No one contradicts you when you explain that he's going to march out of this village alone and into whatever miserable hamlet will have him. They silently agree when you explain that their hands are too clean for the likes of him. But there's something else forming behind their eyes, a kernel of trust and dependence. You feel it curdling around you, encasing you like a pearl does sand. You only wanted to spare Senior Hit's life, not volunteer for his job, but you see so much fear simmering just beneath their expressions. Fear at godmen marching through the mountains, at their woodens and their purges, at dying the slow and lonely death of a ghost town. And you see their grateful reassurance mirrored in Ulrich's expression. Perhaps this place is hopeless, but you realize that you can't leave it any more than you could leave your boy. The only person who isn't looking at you is your husband. He's shaking his head, his eyes on the door. You retreat from Remengild's memory. Vivid though it is, it has nothing to do with Darkens Battery.
What's on your mind?
Okay, so there we can actually learn a little bit about the story of
Seems I was wrong
what
about
happened
you.
here.
Most of these adventurers come for gold and glory and leave us with a new heap of trouble. You've been different.
Okay, and since I'm here, let's just finally read his soul as well. You reach for Uldric's essence and find yourself staring at the fence post lying in a filthy slush of frozen mud. Snow gathers around your legs and trickles into your boots. A wind nips at you even through layers of furs. You hold a wood chisel in one numb hand and a mallet in the other. Kneeling over the fence post, you get to work. Hour after hour, you hammer away, feeling the tools grow heavy in your grip as your breath fogs your vision. You want to do better work than this. You can do better work than this. But no one's building new houses in Stalwart. The last table you crafted was put into the fishery, and pike entrails now trace the fine dovetail joints you so lovingly crafted. Now you mend the stockade, because that's what's needed. The chisel slips, skidding alongside your hand. You gasp, but you hold up your hand and see, much to your relief, all 5 fingers wiggling back at you. You need to get out of this town. You pull back from Ulrich's soul, he's still staring at the fire, seemingly lost in his own memories too.
Something else you need?
Nope, farewell. We're off. We're gonna stop at the inn, see what the innkeeper has to say. We're gonna purchase some mead. I think I'm gonna rest to get the nice resting bonus from the inn. See if I can purchase some more mead after resting, because I think they refresh the inventory. I don't know when. Maybe it's each turn, maybe it's with the passage of some hours. And then we're off. So, you really found the White Forge, huh? He shakes his head in wonder. Hardly believed it at first, but I've never seen Renengild so giddy about anything. He cracks a crooked grin.
Here, drinks on me. We should see a boost in business with the battery open. Makes for a brighter future than we had yesterday, for sure.
Okay, that's good. 6 ale. And refreshments.
Nothing like a pint to take the chill off.
I'm gonna pick up some rabbits too. And not mead, sorry, the white Yennefer. I thought this was mead. Camping supplies I have. Done. Ah, yes, sure. Rest.
Have to warm your hands. A top quality bear.
This one. Oh, okay, this was stupid. I have to rest outside of here anyway.
What can I do? Nothing like.
Do you have more white Yennefer? No, you do. You don't. We're gonna stop by the merchant to see if he has any kind of new gear now that the White Forge is open. And then we're gonna start the White March Part 2. But yeah, this first part, it's not that big. I mean, it has a lot of content, but whatever is done, I think is really well done. Is it true? I saw the lights from the battery. Did you really open it? The Orlan clasps his hands in wonder. I can't believe it. I was sure I'd never make this route again, but who knows what rarities will come from those halls, huh? Such an exciting time. Okay, what do you have for sale? I don't think he has anything new. He has a lot of stuff. Yeah, nothing of interest, I don't think. I will take a torch just because sometimes it can be needed for certain interactions. Okay, well, that's done. We are going to leave. We're gonna go to probably Kednua. 24 hours, sure. I might as well, since I'm stopping at Kednua, I might as well just sell some of the stuff in my stash. But I think I'm gonna spare you guys all the clicking. I'll just pause the video.
This place.
Oh, drakes are gonna attack the Stronghold. Sure, dude. Let them come. I will have a manual resolve. Manual resolve right now. Why not? I kind of wish that these attacks would stop. I don't really see a point in these attacks after you finish the Master Below quest. Because right now I don't get any experience for this, I don't get any items, so why? You know, why am I bothering? Okay, let's just sap this one. He's stunned for 9 seconds, let's sap the other one. We have an amplified wave to throw out here. Let's go for Devotions for the Faithful to debuff everybody. Okay, everything is stunned and debuffed and all those nice things. Just shoot this one. I'm also shooting this one, so he's gonna die. And Aloth, just shoot whatever. Okay, dead. You can charge this guy for extra damage. Dead. And kill this one. And I mean, at this point, it's not even like it's a challenge, right? So why not just stop these attacks altogether? At least maybe they could give me some item or, I don't know, some reason for these attacks to exist.
This place.
This doesn't really count, in my opinion. Okay, so we're gonna go to the merchant. I'm gonna sell all of my stuff, make some monies and clear my stash because there's way too much stuff in my stash right now. And most of it is just worthless. I haven't forgotten this guy. That's for later. Oh, I do like this. I think I want to have this on it there. Because if fights go wrong, the last person to fall is usually it there. So giving him a way to revive my companions might actually be something great. Yeah, revive with a lot of endurance, but they lose some over time. Still, I like this over here. It would also be cool on Kana.
Hey.
Okay, so we picked up everything from over here.
Hello.
And let's see. So yeah, like I mentioned, there's gonna be a lot of me just looking over this stuff and deciding what to sell and what not to sell, and there's a lot of this crap that's just clicking. So I'm just gonna pause the video right here, and when I'm back, the inventory will be clean. So, see you in a second. And we're back. Surprisingly, there was not that much stuff. There was just a lot of arbalists and pikes and things. But still, I avoided you guys having to listen to all that clicking. So 5,000 gold, not very much worth it, but clearing out the stash is worth it. We have a lot of money.
Alright then.
So now we can simply rest over here, and that should start the White March Part 2. Yep. As you sleep, you are buoyed and buffeted by the vagaries of dreams. Man, they really like the weird words here. They tumble and thrash about you and fill your mind's eye with pale, glittering motes. So I'm dreaming. They resolve into a light snowfall and a biting northerly wind. You recognize the mountains of the White March rising around you, and you shiver. You see Stalwart a few miles away, quiet and still, but for a few curdling streams of smoke rising from the chimneys. Durgan's Battery is perched above it, its shadow stretching into the valley. Above it all, you hear a deep, slow rhythm. At first, it sounds like a distant drumming, but then it grows louder, cracking through the dry air and booming from the mountain peaks. It builds until you feel it reverberating beneath your feet. Watch and listen. Each thud becomes louder and faster than the next. Thunder echoes from the mountain tops as great sheets of ice and snow tumble down the slopes. But the rhythm keeps building, shattering frozen lakes like crystal saucers. New ravines split through the mountains as old chasms fill with snow and scree. A rock slide buries Stalwart, and Durgan's Battery is shaken into rubble. Shadows rise over the mountains, the vanguard of a massive army. You flee. You tumble from the foothills and bound across the deerwood, feeling the rumble of an advancing army all the while. Oh. I don't really want to barricade or seek refuge, but I guess we're gonna stay in our fortress. Let's barricade ourselves in Caed Nua. Caed Nua rises from the forest, its mended walls reaching out to you like a pair of strong arms. You barricade yourself within the great hall as the pounding grows closer still. It rattles the foundations of the great keep, and just as the masonry begins shaking loose, you hear an unholy battle cry coming from your courtyard. The ceiling collapses and sends a cascade of bricks and beams onto your head. You struggle to wakefulness, kicking at the bedding knotted around your legs. As you shake free of the last bonds of sleep, you hear a voice whisper something in a language you've never heard, and you see an image of 100 shifting, staring eyes. You awaken, feverishly warm and covered in sweat. Hey, we got experience! Okay, so with this, yeah, this should update. In my dreams, the army came from the White March near Stalwart. Perhaps the residents will know of it. Okay, and let's not delay it any longer. Like I said, there's a few things I want to pick up from the White March Part 2. I will probably have to look to see where they are.
I must say, I'm impressed.
Because yeah, I'm thinking about going to the Part 2, pick up the stuff I want, go to Stronghold, and then come back to start Part 2. Oh, we have a new area. Whitestone Hollow. So we're gonna go to Stalwart. Our party is considered high level for the content. Sure. High level, as usual. We're gonna get a scaled up White March Part 2. I only remember vaguely some parts, not all of it.
While we wait, the enemy grows stronger.
And you'd send more of us to die!
Well, I'm not gonna stand around. Are you?
You've done plenty, Darien!
Darien? Do I know who Darien is? I don't think so. You approach the source of the commotion and see a throng of villagers. They're arguing among themselves and hurling questions and demands at a lone figure perched above them. A young man stands on a spur of rock, his clenched fist held aloft. Steam rises from his wild hair and flushed face as he shouts to the gathering.
Been a week since our people left these gates. A week since the iron flail took them.
The iron flail. He paces the outcropping, his eyes burning. You see a few scattered nods in the crowd.
Yet we wait here behind our sturdy new walls, hiding in our rebuilt homes. We've done nothing.
He brings his fist into his palm with a sharp smack. The crowd erupts, bristling with pointed fingers and pointed words. One woman steps forward, her eyes lock on the young man.
Who are you to tell us how to defend our own? You ain't been here 2 months!
I like her voice. Several of the others grunt and hoot. You feel a shift in the crowd like a changing tide.
Hey, an angry mob. See? We're not so far from home.
I love it there.
And since I got here, I've been working alongside the rest of you. Don't start with that again.
A handful of others nod along with him, but they cringe and flinch as another villager joins the fray, shaking his finger at the young orator.
Well, it was your idea to send our people to that damned fort in the first place! If it weren't for you and the other leeches that come up with you, we wouldn't be in this mess!
The new accuser raises a chorus of furious cries. Darien raises his hands for calm, but the crowd's wrath is snowballing. Let's maybe stop this, just so people don't get hurt. Stop, everyone. A dozen heads turn in your direction. The villagers recognize you, and their eyes widen with hope and reverence. You said something about a fort and an iron flail.
It's a small army from Rayed Saris. They call themselves the Iron Flail.
At Darien's mention of the name, the rest of the crowd falls silent. The words triggered a sudden flashback to your dream of the mysterious army and the destruction of Cadnua. As the image fades, you see once more the vision of 100 eyes, watching you and something just beyond.
Showed up a few weeks after you opened the battery. Demanded we give him the White Forge.
Okay, so effectively we rested once, but it's been a few weeks or maybe a few months since the last time we were here, apparently. He avoids your gaze, scraping his boot against a rock.
They're led by a Dark Sendamir. Comes from an old Rayed Saren family. The rumor has it the man's half mad with visions. Claims one drove him here to take the White Forge.
They're not the only bloodsuckers around here.
The villager glares up at Darien, but most of his fellows are ignoring him by now. Darien raises his voice above the ruckus.
Our crew at the battery locked their doors and told the Iron Flail to go back to Rayed Saris. Instead, they built a fort in the middle of the wood. So we sent a committee to reason with them. But that was a week ago. We haven't seen our people since.
A low rumble ripples through the crowd. Darien hesitates.
That can only mean one thing.
He grimaces as the frightened, arguing crowd drowns him once more. Well, I mean... Man, politics are not easy. I don't like it. On the one hand, you've got to defend what's yours. People just coming over here and saying, give it to us. Yeah, but I think that's the tipping point of this argument. If they just wanted to share, I would go with this one. Can't you share with the Red Sarens? But if they want to take it by force, then he's right. You've got to defend what's yours.
We're just miners and fisher folk.
Panic surges from the crowd.
Send Darien and the rest of the newcomers. Let them earn their keep.
We've cleared your roads and repaired this town. What more do we have to prove?
Cries of agreement and protest boil up from the crowd.
Please, everyone!
In the fragile silence that follows, the others turn and look at Darien.
Whatever our difference is, we've got to deal with the army at our gates.
He looks back to you.
You've done a lot for Stalwart already. Many of us wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you.
He breaks off, looking as if he'd like to stuff his words back into his mouth. After an uneasy pause, he swallows and continues.
What I mean is, if anyone could deal with an army, it's you.
Very well, I'll help you.
The Iron Flail cleared a patch of forest north of Durgan's Battery, built their fort there. It'll be well guarded, so if you can get in without raising an alarm, you may have an easier time of it. The important thing is to deal with the commander. If you can get rid of him, the rest of the soldiers will scatter.
Is it worth saying something as weird as this? Yeah, let's go with it. I think I've dreamed about this army.
What exactly did you see?
Well, he also goes with it. He watches you with wide, wondering eyes. A murmur ripples through the crowd. Yeah, I'm not gonna say this. I could lie, but I'm not a deceitful person. Let's just be vague. The dream was unclear.
Of course. We're just thankful this dream led you back. Anyway, we've got our work cut out for us here.
He gives the crowd a purposeful look. Grumbling, they start to disperse.
While you're out, stop by the battery. Wangra and her team are still repairing the heavy cannons. They've made a lot of progress elsewhere.
Ah, so now they're... okay.
Thought you might like to see how far it's come.
He shrugs. I wanted to ask you about something.
Haven't been here long, but I'll tell you what I can.
Tell me about this iron flail.
They heard about the White Forge and came running. Just like a lot of us did. Only difference is, they brought siege weapons. As best anyone can tell, they're from the border region near Little Bend, one of the poorest parts of the country. For Raid Saris, well, that's saying something.
So what brought you to Stalwart? We just heard it was the White Forge. There seems to be a lot of tension around town.
Before you opened Durgan's Battery, people tell me Stalwart barely had enough warm bodies to keep the town running. A bunch of us came when we heard about the White Forge. But now, I think the old-timers would just as soon send us back.
He begins ticking items off in his fingers.
We take the best jobs, we don't pay our respects to Andra, we're overcrowding the town.
The usual. He shakes his head.
I get it. Stalwart's changing. Same thing happened in New Yarma when folk moved in from the countryside. But they can't keep blaming us for everything that goes wrong out here.
He sighs, and the steaming cloud escapes his lips.
I'm just hoping they'll calm down once the iron flail is gone.
That's all. So we have a new quest, the Iron Flail. We're gonna look it over. Oh, and also ready the cannons. Anything else? No. The villagers of Stalwart are concerned about a band of red Serens known as the Iron Flail, which has come to the mountain with the intention of claiming the battery for themselves. A group of delegates was dispatched to negotiate, but they have not returned. The Iron Flail has erected a fort in the mountain pass to the northwest. Any answers as to the fate of the Stalwart delegates will lie there. Darien asked me to deal with their commander, Aderic Sendemir. And the Forgotten Army, this was the one we had with our dream. So the White Forge, okay. A fort has been built to the east of What? What? The Iron Flail has erected a fort in the mountain pass to the northwest. A fort has been built to the east of Stalwart. In my house, the army I seek. Are there two fort? No. Okay, I'm guessing this is just strange, or I'm just not aware of the directions right now. The fort was built by Red Serens with an interest in capturing Durgan's Battery. Stalwart sent a group of delegates from among their residents to try and parley with the Red Serens, but the delegates never returned. So these are effectively the same thing. This one is more specific, and this one is the big picture quest, I'm guessing. Okay. So, do you have any new items? No, I think he still has the same thing. That's a little bit disappointing. I was hoping for more. Man, this guy is still waiting. Oh, poor you. We still have the drunkard. Do we have new bounties? No. Wait, but there aren't. Oh. This wasn't here before. Hammond's Emporium. Hammond's Emporium. This is a new house. I think this was built over the house that was burning, where we saved the guy from within.
Would I interest you in a new blade?
Oh, yes, you can, my friend. How can I steal this?
What is it?
That's even more interesting.
Keeping an eye out.
Okay. Awesome. Coco. Sure.
Hey.
You can see your own reflection in those shields. This looks like Stalwart from the road to Deerwood. cheap perfumes line the bottom shelf. These are just villagers, and then we have Ammon. These identical Abaddon figurines are all of equally poor quality. The shopkeeper's clothes seem a little nicer, if not terribly warm, compared to what you've seen around Stalwart. His hair is immaculately coiffed, and his rosy cheeks look like they've barely been touched by the mountain winds. Welcome, welcome. I've got arms and armor all top quality. Or perhaps you'd like to see potions. Always a pleasure to meet respectable company out here anyway. Okay, show me what you have for sale. Ah, okay, so the other guy doesn't have new gear, but this guy does. Twin Sting. It's also a soulbound item. It is a crossbow. Works with a rogue, a ranger, or a cipher, so another weapon for the grieving mother. Inflicts 4.7 raw damage over 4 seconds on hit. Doesn't seem very impressive. It's exceptional. Twin Sting is a crossbow with an unusual design. It is built to fire 2 bolts before requiring... Oh, nice. Oh, this actually might be cool for the grieving mother because it shoots twice to get a lot of focus points before reloading. Maybe. Few are the practical uses of such a weapon that would be worth the trade-off of the extra weight. This item, however, was built to fulfill a very particular need. We don't know what it is. I have enough money that I'm just gonna buy it to see what it is and how it plays out. He has a bunch of fine stuff. Please tell me you have more unique items. He does. The colored coat. It's a unique heavy armor. It's a brigandine. Minus 10% armor speed penalty. Grants Wicked Briars. Foe AoE pierce damage. When endurance drops below 51%, this is so poor and underwhelming. The Right Lord Laurel Tenring found himself in the unenviable position of being caught in a war between 2 branches of his own family, fought over hunting rights to certain lands that were jointly owned. While most family members found it easy to choose a side, Laurel could not bring himself to take up arms against anyone in his large extended family. He had this brigandine decorated in 2 tones, each representing the opposing family banners, and had the local spell rights imbue it with the power to raise a wall of briars, which he hoped to use to keep the sides divided on the battlefield. When the 2 sides met in combat, he rode out to the center of the battlefield, raising briar patches and waving to both sides, calling out for them to stop their mad feud. Unfortunately, his decorative brigandine had the opposite effect of what he intended, and each side read it as being the uniform of the other. Wow. He was felled by a rain of arrows from both directions. When his family realized he had died, they put their battle on hold and discussed peace. Then they began to argue about whether Laurel would be buried, and the feud began anew. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, wait, because there are certain unique items that don't look unique. They also have the blue background. This is another Seal of Faith, only usable by priest, but I already have one. The Ring of the Celonan. Plus 2 first level spell uses, plus 2 third level spell uses. I don't think... God damn it. Well, I'll see. Argues Adras Helm. Plus 3 resolve. When Gref Admeth Hadret passed the 10 years treaties on the anniversary of the War of Black Trees, he outlawed the looting of Ingwithan ruins. When this was a popular move against the Glenfaddens, while this was a popular move against the Glenfaddens, as well as the frontier villagers who frequently found themselves the subject of the tribe's vengeance, it was an unwelcome change for the traders and adventurers who had made their living selling Ingwithan artifacts. Quite a few vendors, however, took to commissioning and selling replicas. Many fakes were so skillfully made that even scholars had difficulty distinguishing between them, and ciphers were sometimes hired to attest to the authenticity of high-value objects. Argues Adra, Adra armor, actually was taken from ruins near the Court of Bowing Ashes, but it so closely resembled 2 known fakes that it famously passed through Defiance Bay, Anchenze, and Celona before an Animancer in Barda recognized its authenticity. And I think we also have a piece of armor like this. Another cloak of protection, I might buy that. The belt of bountiful healing. He carries many scars helm. +2 to athletics, +50 defense while stunned, and 50 defense while prone. I think I have this armor as well. This armor was forged in honor of the Red Seven monk Rugnfar, who came to believe that no enemy could inflict more pain upon him than he could himself. Yeah, we've read this before. Somebody has this. Torque of Defiance, don't care. Yeah, okay, so here we have helmets for unique armors that we have. We also have the Sanguine Plate. Okay, very cool. And then he has a bunch of helms, a bunch of scrolls, a bunch of traps, potions, ingredients. Oh, he has oh no. I thought he had unlimited gems. Well, maybe they refresh. Okay, so nothing particularly worthwhile buying, but he does have a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff. I'm gonna buy this. And I have to end the episode, but let me just see if I have anybody else that needs the Cloak of Protection. I'm using something different. You are using something different. You have the Cloak of Protection. You're using something different. And you have this one, which is also cool. Yeah, okay, so I don't need the Cloak of Protection. This can go into my stash. The Twin Sting is gonna go for the Grieving Mother. Okay. And I'm gonna leave the Binding of the Soul for the next episode. I mean, it could also go for my Rogue if I wanted to have a different weapon from the Borosane, but honestly at this point, with the Borosane enchanted with Durgan Steel, I'm not gonna swap it. But yeah, I think we're good in terms of... Ah, right, the ring, sorry. So I have this and I have this. Yeah, so the other ring just gives me what's missing here, I think. +2 first level spells and +2 third level spells. That's fine, I don't need it. This sucks, so this can go away. And that's all. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna end the episode here, my friends. As always, I want to thank you all for being here with me in the channel, watching some Pillars of Eternity. I hope you guys are enjoying the run, and I hope you are all excited for the White March Part 2 and Stronghold, which is also going to be coming relatively soon. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below. If you are enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more. There are videos coming out every single day, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, everyone.